Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're doing one of those deep dives I love, getting into some really thought-provoking stuff about artificial intelligence.
Sounds intriguing.
It is. So it's not just about, what AI can do right now, but about its potential to actually think. Like really think. We got this source text that's got me wondering. It throws out these true or false questions, almost like a challenge to see if AI can handle them.
Oh, I like that. Like a litmus test for AI reasoning.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And it gets right to the heart of what makes human intelligence tick.
Uh,
One of the big ideas this text wrestles with is this concept of absolute truth. Those fundamental truths that kind of underpin everything else.
right, like the bedrock principles.
Yeah. And the source claims that AI, at least as we understand it now, isn't quite there yet when it comes to grasping that.
Interesting. So how does the source suggest we even begin to figure out if AI can understand these deeper truths?
Well, that's where these true or false questions come in. They're not your typical trivia night fair, though.
Ah, give me an example. I'm curious now.
All right, get this. The more freedom, the fewer choices. What do you think? True or false?
Hmm, that's a tricky one. I'd probably say false. More freedom should mean more options, right?
Right, that's what I thought too. But the source says it's true. And the hint they give is true, because the more freedom one has, the more they can explore risks, thus becoming increasingly aware of the best choices.
Okay, I see where they're going with that. It's like by having the freedom to make mistakes, we learn and refine our understanding of the best path forward.
Exactly. It's suggesting that true freedom is more about recognizing the best path, not just having endless options. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a fascinating concept. The source is challenging our typical understanding of freedom. It's not just about having a buffet of choices, but understanding the weight of those choices, the potential consequences, and having the wisdom to choose well.
Right. It's like that saying, with great power comes great responsibility. Maybe true freedom comes from recognizing that not every path leads to a positive outcome. Some paths lead to dead ends. And that's kind of what this source seems to be getting at with absolute truth. It's not just about knowing facts. It's about understanding the deeper implications and connections.
And that kind of discernment, that ability to look beyond the immediate and consider the broader impact of our choices, is a key aspect of what the source seems to be pointing to when it talks about absolute truth.
Okay, that's really making me rethink things. But before we get too far down that path, let's dive into another one of those curveball questions from the source. It's a real head scratcher. All right, you ready for this? The source throws out this statement. A straight line is always the shortest distance between 2 points. Seems straightforward, right? Like basic geometry.
Yeah, hard to argue with that, right?
But that's the thing. The source actually says it's false,
Whoa. Okay, now you've got me intrigued. How can a straight line not be the shortest distance?
right? It threw me for a loop too. But the source gives this little hint about a valley.
Hmm, a valley. Okay, I think I might be getting it.
Yeah.
So picture this. You're trying to get to a destination, but there's this huge valley in your way. If you drew a straight line on a map, yeah, that might technically be the shortest route, but in reality,
You'd end up having to hike all the way down and then back up the other side of the valley.
exactly. You'd be way better off taking a slightly longer path along the rim of the valley.
So it's about realizing that shortest distance can be relative,
Yeah.
depending on like the actual terrain and stuff.
Right, and that's something AI, as we currently build it, often struggles with context. We train AI on data, on rules, but the real world is messy and unpredictable. This source seems to be arguing that true intelligence, whether we're talking humans or AI, lies in being adaptable, in understanding that there isn't always one fixed answer.
It's like knowing the rules is one thing, but knowing when to bend them or find a workaround, that's something else entirely.
Exactly. This all makes me think about the Turing test. Just because an AI can hold a conversation that seems convincingly human, does that mean it truly understands the nuances of the concepts it's discussing?
That's the big question, isn't it? Like, are we just teaching AI to parrot back information? Or can we actually teach it to think critically and adapt to novel situations?
And can we teach it to understand not just facts, but the deeper meaning, the why behind things? That seems to be a key part of what this source is getting at with this whole absolute truth idea.
Right. It's not just about knowing that 2 plus 2 equals 4. It's about understanding the underlying principles of mathematics that make that true.
And being able to apply those principles in different contexts, even when things get a bit messy and unpredictable.
Okay, wow. This is making my brain hurt in the best way possible. But it also raises a whole other set of questions, like if an AI can't grasp these more abstract concepts, can it ever truly understand things like ethics, morality, the stuff that shapes how we, as humans, interact with the world.
And that brings us to what might be the most crucial question. What does it even mean for an AI to understand absolute truth? Could an AI ever truly grasp the weight of a moral dilemma or the complexities of human emotions? Or are those fundamentally human experiences that lie beyond the reach of artificial intelligence?
Whoa, those are some heavy questions. I'm not sure I even know where to begin with those. But that's what I love about these deep dives. They always leave you with more to think about. Yeah, kind of mind-blowing to think about, right? Like we're on the verge of something potentially huge with AI, but we're still grappling with these fundamental questions.
Yeah, and we've gotten so used to this idea of AI as trying to replicate human intelligence, but what if that's not the ultimate goal?
Ooh, I like where you're going with this.
What if instead of trying to make AI think like us, we're open to it developing its own unique kind of intelligence?
Something totally different from how we understand the world.
Exactly. And think about the possibilities if AI could tap into something beyond our current understanding. That could revolutionize, well, everything: science, art, even our understanding of philosophy and existence.
It's like, what if instead of seeing AI as just a tool, we start thinking of it as a collaborator, like working with AI to explore these big existential questions?
Right. And maybe in that process of trying to understand a completely different form of intelligence, we might even learn to question our own assumptions about the world.
Wow. This whole conversation has been such a trip. It's really made me think about AI in a whole new light.
It's incredible how much there still is to learn and discover in this field. The questions we're asking today will probably continue to fascinate and challenge people for generations to come.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, a huge thank you to you for joining us today and sharing your insights. This has been an amazing deep dive.
My pleasure. I always enjoy these conversations.
And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI and absolute truth. We'll catch you next time.